Hey folks, welcome back, and happy 4th of July. Okay, well I'm a little late on that one, but the spirit of the holiday still persists. Every day is the 4th of July when you're a true patriot, and what better way to celebrate the United States of America than to examine a video game company headquartered in Japan. From Software, one of the biggest deals in the video game industry these days. They're known for the Blank Souls series, comprising of not only Demon Souls and the 3 Dark Souls games, but also Bloodborne and Sekiro and the upcoming Elden Ring. Super serious, tough-as-nails action role-playing games that are considered to be, from a technical standpoint, some of the greatest video games ever made. Because of their massive success in the last decade or so, it might come as a surprise that From Software has been publishing games for nearly 3 decades now. And astoundingly enough, along with RPGs, their bread and butter has always been mech games. Aside from the Souls series, From Software is probably best known for their Armored Core series. However, Armored Core isn't From Software's only foray into the niche mech genre. They also have Murakumo Renegade Mech Pursuit, and Another Century's Episode R, which looks like a mech game to me. However, atop the mountain of From Software, there sits one title that will forever live in infamy, and that game is Metal Wolf Chaos. Well, actually, Dark Souls and Demon Souls and whatnot are probably atop the mountain. Metal Wolf Chaos is in like one of those knolls halfway up the mountain with all the frozen corpses and stuff. Maybe there's a Yeti in there, who knows? But anyway, this game was released in 2004 exclusively in Japan for the Xbox. It was made in an attempt to boost the weak sales figures of the Xbox in Japan, which were significantly lower than in Western regions. The idea was to create a mech game with an American feel to it while still keeping with the gameplay mechanics that were popular in Eastern regions at the time. It was not the financial success that Microsoft or From Software were hoping for, and it also struggled with critics, which led to the game never being localized outside of Japan. However, over the years it developed a cult following, mostly due to its cartoonish display of American patriotism and completely buck-wild plot. All of this culminated in the creation of an enhanced version, Metal Wolf Chaos XD, being released worldwide in 2019. Now, I'm as American as the next guy, so I've always wondered, what does a day in the life of the President of the United States really truly look like? Well, my prayers have been answered, because in Metal Wolf Chaos, you play as none other than the President of the United States. And to be honest with you, I would be doing you a disservice if I were to just sit here and explain everything to you. So get your Constitution reading glasses on, fill up a big tall glass of 3.5 alcohol content beer, and make sure it's 70% foam, because it's time to remember Pearl Harbor.
Nice lad.
We have some guests approaching at 2 o'clock. And you guests are coming too.
I'll make you just like perforated cheese for return. Bingo!
Oh, it seems like they love you so much.
This is going to be so good. So Metal Wolf Chaos takes place in the near future. The little scrolling plot thing at the beginning says, by the end of the first quarter of the 21st century, freedom was dead in America. So presumably we're talking the late 2020s, early 2030s here. There was a military coup that seized power throughout the country, and it's up to Michael Wilson, the 47th President of the United States, to defeat the terrorist forces and take back America. The first level sees President Michael Wilson exploding out of the back of the White House, and he's met with a barrage of soldiers, military vehicles, and Black Hawk helicopters. And the goal is just to mow him down, baby! Eventually, the secret entrance to the presidential underground airbase opens up under this giant statue of someone, I don't know. What's with this statue? As far as I can tell, there isn't a giant statue outside the White House in real life. Did this guy erect a giant statue of himself outside the White House? No wonder there's a military coup going on. Anyway, you go underground and fend off a bunch of coup d'etat forces who are trying to put creases in your Nikes. And then another mech comes out of the White House and Michael goes, Richard! After the mission is over, it cuts to a breaking news report from DNN. You know, the Dable News Network.
Since 2010, domestic terrorism problems have increased rapidly. Economic disputes originating from the exhaustion of fossil fuels and The sudden rise in unemployment due to the influx of large-scale immigration.
Whoa, okay, that came out of nowhere, didn't it? Oof. Kind of corny trying to pay me into here, buddy. Basically, the long and short of it is that the other mech was being piloted by Richard Hawke, the vice president. He's leading the charge of the military coup to seize power of the United States while also portraying himself as the good guy. DNN, of course, is perpetuating the belief that Richard Hawke is the good guy, portraying Michael Wilson as a terrorist, although they don't seem to know that the president is in the mech, so they just call him Metal Wolf. Biased reporting from mainstream news outlets. Wait. Come on now. What kind of nonsense? Get real. Oh, come on. So basically the entire country has been taken over and put under martial law by the corrupt military dictatorship run by Ethan Hawke. And it's up to President Michael Wilson and his assistant Jody to defeat the opposing forces and return freedom back to the United States of America. God bless. Now, Metal Wolf Chaos is what I like to call a Gex game. Okay, hear me out. Think of a video game that's very popular. Say, for example, another From Software title, Dark Souls. People like Dark Souls because it's fun and it has a high level of difficulty. Obviously, there are other reasons, but people really like a challenge. And in general, it comes down to the game design. And then on the other hand, you have The Last of Us, which is also considered to be one of the greatest games ever made. Mostly due to the narrative. If you ask fans why they like that game so much, they'll probably say something like, oh, the characters, the story. It's generally considered to be one of the greatest stories ever told in the video game. And then there's Gex. People like the Gecko because he makes the funny George Clooney joke that isn't funny. Gex may as well just not even be a video game. It's a 90s pop culture reference compilation. And that's Metal Wolf Chaos as well. People really like this game. It has a cult following, but people like it for reasons other than the gameplay. We'll say it like that. That said, though, I still want to talk about the game as a game. And don't worry, I'll address the elephant in the room. We'll get there in due time, don't worry. So, mecha games. It's not really a genre that I'm super familiar with. To be honest, the furthest extent of experience that I have with mechs is the Tails and Eggman stages of Sonic Adventure 2. You know, the worst part of that game. And yes, I like the Knuckles and Rouge stages where you're looking for Chaos Emeralds, fight me. To be fair, mechs are a lot more popular in Japan than they are here. But after playing Metal Wolf Chaos, I think I like mech games. Basically, the game is broken down into a bunch of different missions, and while they do vary in objective, most of the levels boil down to this. There are a bunch of target areas that you have to find and destroy, which are usually towers with guns on them and guys shooting at you, or these little public bathroom looking things that are full of foot soldiers. There are also little boxes full of hostages which you're supposed to save. It's not required to finish the mission, but you get a better score at the end if you do. Also, sometimes they're rigged with explosives, so you have to destroy them before they explode and kill the hostages. It seems pretty simple, but it's actually comprehensive and requires some strategy. The target locations require a shitload of bullets to destroy, but in general you can't just stand there and unload bullets, because there are more often than not foot soldiers or tanks or helicopters or whatever shooting at you. It requires a good amount of micromanagement, but it very infrequently gets overwhelming. You have 8 slots for guns, 4 on each hand, which you can customize before you enter a mission. There are a lot of different kinds of guns you can use. Pistols, assault rifles, machine guns, shotguns, missile launchers, bazookas, etc. And it is worthwhile to fill your inventory with lots of different kinds of guns because they're useful for different things. It's generally most effective to take out foot soldiers with the shotgun since the wide spread hits a bunch of them at a time. The big military vehicles like the tanks and the trucks or whatever are best dealt with using the bazooka while also unloading the machine gun or pistol into them. And then you got the Blackhawks, which are so far away that it's best to use the missile launcher since it homes in on them. And also you have to use light firearms like pistols, shotguns, and machine guns to save the hostages. If you hit them with a bazooka, you'll just kill all the POWs. Overall, this game is actually a lot of fun. You just go through each level and unload bullets into shit. It's, dare I say, chaos. The only real complaint I have is that a lot of the target locations have a lot of health. So sometimes you kind of just stand in there unloading bullets, and it kind of feels like they're just trying to elongate the level without any substance, really. Honestly, I'm not really sure why this game was so panned when it came out. Maybe it's due to my lack of knowledge of mech games, but I actually really like this game. So yeah, it's a video game. Big f***ing deal, nobody cares. The fact that Metal Wolf Chaos is actually a relatively fun game to play is merely the cherry on top. The real appeal of this game is the plot, the voice acting, and the absurdist level of American patriotism. It's like if you got a Japanese person to make a game about Americans. So, without further introduction, get on your you can't make this shit up hats, because we're going full on, balls deep, into the masterpiece that is Metal Wolf Chaos. I know that I've already mentioned this, but I feel the need to repeat it just to reaffirm that I'm not making any of this shit up. This is a video game in which you play as the President of the United States in a giant suit of mech armor. Presumably during the late 2020s and 2030s, a series of military coups occurred throughout the United States, led by none other than the Vice President Richard Hawk, who has his own suit of mech armor, might I add. So Michael Wilson takes it upon himself to liberate America by progressively destroying the country city by city. The whole time you're quote-unquote liberating the people of the United States, your assistant, I guess, Jody, with a Y for some reason, is constantly talking your ear off, either telling you what to do or sucking your dick about how amazing you are. Plus, whenever she's talking, she's on the left side of the screen here. And I make no exaggeration when I say that the voice acting in this game is on par with Resident Evil and Symphony of the Night.
War really doesn't suit these lovely surroundings.
Jody. Nor someone as lovely as you.
Sure, whatever. Nice work, Mr. President. What I wouldn't give for a fly swatter for this buzzing insect. Mr. President, how's the skydiving?
Not too bad.
Some of the things the characters say are truly astounding. One of my favorites is when you're in the San Francisco level and Jody just goes on for like a fucking year about this building.
The enemy forces have usurped the building, making it a target.
The building was opened 2 years ago on April 25th. It's named the Haokon Denkai China Building. Each season it's decorated with gorgeous lights. Their Christmas tree tops them all. Over 800,000 people came to
What are
see
you
it last
talking
December.
about, lady? Also, starting in the Alcatraz level, because yes, you have to liberate Alcatraz, because of course you do, the DNN news anchor, Peter McDonald, is flying above the level giving his classic biased reporting.
That's the heinous terrorist Metal Wolf, as seen from the air. He's trying to take over the Alcatraz cannon and destroy the West Coast.
Honestly, this game actually reminds me a lot of Sonic Adventure 2. The music is so loud that you can't hear the characters talking.
The Pentagon, the United Nations, and all central government institutions have fallen into the hands of the Vice President.
Sometimes the characters cut each other off or don't finish sentences.
Like they were ever invited. They're definitely...
Michael!
The music is very Sonic Adventure-esque, and of course, the final battle against Richard Hawk takes place on a space station. This is incredible. I had heard of this game and even seen clips, but nothing can truly prepare you for the sheer level of absurdity being delivered here. Also, every time you pause, there's this guy with a really thick accent saying something.
Sample this. Sequencer. Sample this. Sequencer. Sample this.
I can tell he's saying sequencer when you unpause, but I have no idea what the first phrase is.
Sample this. Sample this. Sample this.
To whom it may concern. What the f? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Metal Wolf Chaos, the most patriotic video game of all time. And you know what? It's pretty good. It's actually a pretty fun game. It doesn't really feel like a chore to grind through the levels to get to the funny cutscenes. The Steam version crashes constantly, but if you can get past that, it's pretty fun. And now, I feel it would only be appropriate to close this video by singing the Star-Spangled Banner. Please remove your hats and put your hands over your heart or whatever. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light and the twilight's last gleaming and the rocket's red flare